Hi, this is immigration attorney Christian Zeller. It is Tuesday, December 16th, and I am reporting from my home office in Florida. Today, I'm advising you that some U.S. travel rules are about to change. So the U.S. government is proposing major changes to the electronic system for travel authorization, otherwise known as ESTA. And ESTA is what allows people from certain countries to visit the US for up to 90 days without a full visa under what's called the Visa Waiver Program. And these changes are likely to be in effect by next summer. And here's an easy to understand breakdown, things that you need to know if you're planning on traveling on ESTA. First, there will be social media history disclosure requirements. The most significant change is that all ESTA applicants will have to provide details about their social media activity for the past 5 years. DHS will review this information to see if an applicant poses a threat to U.S. national security or to U.S. public safety. Now, what's considered a threat? The rules are somewhat vague, but previous guidance to officials or to US government officials suggests that they look at the following things. For example, hostility towards US citizens, US government, or US culture, support for designated terrorist groups or other threats, or if you have a history of political activism. Since these criteria are so broad, experts suggest reviewing your past social media posts, including posts others have left on your content, for anything that could be interpreted as, for example, being critical of the Trump presidential administration, or the president himself, or any members of his cabinet or other associates. Anyone expressing a negative view of any aspect of US history, US culture, US politics, and so on. Or if you or someone else on your social media is showing support or sympathy for countries, organizations traditionally seen as against the United States, such as Iran, Cuba, Venezuela, or any state-designated terrorist organizations. Well, I can assure you, if the DHS finds something they consider a threat, your ESTA application will likely be denied. And if that happens, you would then have to apply for a traditional B1, B2 visa at the nearest US consulate where you live. Second, on the current ESTA application, you don't need a lot of data, but in the future, much more personal data will be collected. And here's what we know so far, which is in the proposed rule. You will have to provide phone numbers used in the past 5 years, email addresses used in the past 10 years, IP addresses and other technical data such as metadata from electronically submitted photos, names, dates of birth, places of birth of your parents, spouse, siblings, and your children, phone numbers used by your family members in the past 5 years, where your spouse and siblings live. The proposal even mentions needing things like face, fingerprints, DNA, and iris data. We don't know how that is going to play out or whether that will be required. You may have to provide business telephone numbers for the past 5 years and business email addresses for the past 10 years. Third, there will be other changes to the process, or at least proposed so. The current ESTA website will be shut down and you will only be able to apply through the ESTA mobile app. If you will have to upload a photo to the mobile app in addition to the photo already taken in your passport. There will also be a new optional feature which will be added to the CBP Home mobile app that lets travelers prove that they have actually left the US after their visit using facial image and geolocation services. But also remember, even if your ESTA is approved, CBP officers still have the opportunity to review your social media activity by checking your phone or laptop upon arrival in the US. So here's our advice at this point. These changes are expected to be adopted soon, but will likely slow down the application processing. So if you plan on visiting the US under ESTA next year, we highly recommend that you file your application as soon as possible before these new rules take effect. So current ESTA approvals are valid for 2 years, and applications approved prior to the rule change will likely, of course we don't know, but likely not be subject to the new social media additional data requirements. So there you have it. Contact us if you have any questions. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to immigrationhelpchannel.com. Have a good day.